So I hit minimize. So guess where we get to start? You get to start over with our conversation, yeah. Fortunately, I didn't, stop like mid sentence. I've had that happen to me before. It sucks. Or the light goes off and I don't notice, and then I got to try and remember the last 20 things I said, which with ADD isn't gonna happen. But like I said, I think they get Bosa at 5 if he's there. Don't think he'll be there. So there's Ogba. Uh, Buckner would be there. Those would be good choices, either of those guys. At 6, they have the Baltimore Ravens getting Ronnie Stanley, offensive lineman, Notre Dame. That, I think, would be a solid pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Ronnie's a great tackle. He's got great footwork, good hands. I'm interested to see how he makes the transition into a pro offense, but good pick at 6. I think he'll be there. 7, San Francisco. They have him getting Jared Goff. In later polls that I've read, some people have him not getting Jared Goff. They have him falling to like the second round. I think Goff is a great choice for the Niners there. Maybe lacks the same mobility that maybe you're looking for, but he's got a really good arm, good vision, good footwork. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. I think he's a solid starter for the NFL. That'd be a great pick for the Niners. Miami getting Miles Jack, linebacker, UCLA. I'm not so sure about that. Getting Miles, I think he's a great player, but I don't know if that's where they should go. They just got Kiko Alonso from the Eagles. I almost said the Bills. They got him from the Eagles. So I don't know how your need at running back is. Or running back. Wow. He did play running back, actually. What your need at linebacker is. If you still need him at 8, Miles is a great pick. He's a solid player. They have 9, Tampa Bay getting defensive end DeForest Buckner. Tampa Bay did have Morris Claiborne for the Cowgirls. They had Claiborne. They did have Adrian Claiborne, but he plays for the Eagles now. Or no, not the Eagles. He plays for the Falcons. If I get my facts straight. I think Buckner is a great choice for Tampa. I think that he will definitely take pressure off of Gerald McCoy, and that will seriously help the defensive line. The backfield has gotten some serious help. Now you got to help the defensive line. Great choice. Go with Buckner. The New York Giants getting Sheldon Rankin, defensive tackle, Louisville, with the 10th pick. I think that's a solid pick. I don't know. Again, I'm not a Giants fan. Actually, when it comes to the NFL, I only like I really don't have a favorite team or anything. I just don't get to watch them very often, so I don't know what their needs are. But if you needed a defensive tackle, Sheldon Rankins is a good choice. He's got good speed. He's got good use of hands. He likes to get inside. He uses very good ability to both bull rush and swim move around defenders. I think he's a great prospect to go after, especially since no one's really sure about JPP. So if you needed to move him to the edge, I think you could do it. I'd leave him at tackle, but if you needed to shift him over there for a few plays, I think you could pull it off. He's definitely somebody the Giants could use. With the 11th pick, they have the Chicago Bears getting Emmanuel Ogbah, defensive end, Oklahoma State. The Bears got a couple really good linebackers in the free agency. They've gotten, they had Parnell McPhee at left or right outside linebacker. They got, who they just pick up at middle linebacker? It was a really good signing. Jarrell Freeman. And they got, should have pulled this up too. Awesome. They actually have a free agent tracker. Thank you. This information is coming from the Bears website. Fantastic. They got Jarrell Freeman. They got Akeem Hicks. He's a defensive lineman. Jarrell Freeman's a linebacker. Danny Trevathan, that's what I was trying to think of, who came from Denver. So originally they had said they needed a linebacker. I think your linebacker problems are pretty much solved. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go get somebody. I'm just saying for right now, problem solved. You can still get somebody, but overall, got a lot of help. Manuel Ogbah, good choice. I haven't watched a lot of film on him yet. I'm getting to OSU, the other OSU, Oklahoma State, not Ohio. Yeah, I think he's a solid defensive end. Should be able to get some good plays. He'll definitely play. Yeah, I think that definitely work. I'm reading some of the notes this guy has. I'm not going to share them because that would be piracy. I don't want to, or it's not piracy. It'd be copyright infringement. I don't feel like doing that. Don't want to get sued. So I'm not going to read his notes out loud. But I agree with what he had to say. I'll say that. If you want to know what his notes were, like I said, this is on campussports.net. It's the, how is this titled? NFL Mock Draft 2016, 3 rounds. With the 12th pick, they have the New Orleans Saints selecting Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, Ole Miss. I think that is a fantastic choice. He's got great hands. He's got good footwork. You're going to get used to hearing me say that. He's not the fastest guy in the field, but he does have some quickness. And he is a playmaker. You watch Ole Miss tape, and if they didn't win, it's because they didn't get the ball into this guy's hands. And I think the Saints just lost. Who'd they just let go of? Is it Colston? Let me see if this guy has that in his notes. Please be helpful. Yep. Okay. They dropped Marquez Golston. It sounds like I said Golston. It's not. It's Colston. Colston. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Michigan. When I say things, certain things come off the tongue differently, and it sounds like I said something else. It's not. It's part of the lovely, lovely northern accent that I have. Probably doesn't sound like I have one, but it's a Michigan thing. Only people from outside of Michigan hear it. But yeah. Anyway, him going to the Saints, Laquan Treadwell, that's a solid choice. They absolutely could use him. Yeah, I mean, if I was them sitting there, I'd go after him. Philadelphia Eagles going after Mackenzie Alexander, cornerback, Clemson. Okay, I have question marks about Mackenzie Alexander. Here's why. Clemson played fantastic. Clemson's defense was fierce. I didn't, if I was a college team, I wouldn't have wanted to play against Clemson last year. Here is one bit, though. He talked a little bit of trash at the combine about how he's the best corner in the whole draft. Yet he doesn't have any interceptions. That's part of your job. Now it got explained thanks to the NFL, their website, their website and their analysts that they use, .com, where I watched combine coverage. They were able to explain that they don't run much zone. They run more man coverage, which means that the receiver would be in front of him, so he doesn't turn to the ball. He watches the receiver. Has quite a few deflections. I don't know his exact stats. I mean, it's Philadelphia. You got to take a chance on him. You can't do much worse. You and the Cleveland Browns can't really do much worse than you already got. They have the Raiders getting Vernon Hargreaves III, cornerback from Florida. I like Vernon Hargreaves. I think that if he falls to 14, now again, this is contingent on him being there at 14. Eagles might grab him. The Bears could grab him. I mean, it depends on what the Bears decide to do. I like their pick with Emmanuel Ogbah, but if they decide to go after Vernon Hargreaves, I mean, I can't blame them. Especially after losing Peanut Tillman. I think he is one of the top corners in the draft. I mean, obviously he is, but I think he's one in the top 3, in my opinion. He's got great ability to find where the ball is. And I seriously think that if the Raiders are there at 14, they find him, that would be a huge improvement to their secondary. With the 15th pick, they have the Los Angeles. I know I've said this before. It's just good to have that roll off the tongue. The Los Angeles Rams taking Paxton Lynch. I like this idea. Paxton's a very big quarterback. I think he's like 6'7", 6'6", something like that. He's got a good arm, good vision, good footwork, but he's mobile. He can run. Something that I think the Rams are going to need, seeing as how their offensive line has a few issues. But at 15, Paxton should be there. Take him. All right, I like this guy. At 16, they have my Detroit Lions taking Robert Nkemdiche, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. That would be a blessing to Detroit. We need a defensive tackle that actually knows what the hell they're doing. That's not 40 years old. Sorry, Nada. I like you. But you're getting old. You're not an elite pass rusher anymore. So, if they take Nkemdiche, now again, it's the Lions. We'll find a way to fuck it up. He should be sitting there around 16. I have him going. Now, again, when I say I have him going, I don't have like a list. I keep it in my head. I think about it. I personally could see him going top 10. Remember, this is 16. Him falling as far as 16, I'm not 100% certain Chicago could take him. Which would mean we would probably be stuck with Emmanuel Ogbah, which wouldn't be bad either. Because we could use another defensive end on the other side of Ziggy. Which you'll hear me confuse Ansah and the running back a couple times because they have the same nickname. And it's confusing to me. Oh, good. If I hit the button, it goes away. 17th overall, they have Darren Lee, outside linebacker, Ohio State, going to the Atlanta Falcons. I'm trying to think. Did they re-sign? I don't think they did. See if I can find a free agent tackle on them. Hang on a second. I'm thinking about somebody I thought they got. Okay, they did get Sean Witherspoon back. That's what I thought. I don't know if they need Darren Lee. They just got Sean Witherspoon back. I mean, it never hurts to have another outside linebacker. Kid's fast. He can pick you off. He can sack you. Good tackler. I'm trying to think in my head right now as to really if I were the Falcons. If I was convinced that I needed an outside linebacker, I would take Darren Lee. I'll put it to you that way. I mean, I don't know what the Falcons really need off the top of my head, especially now that they got Witherspoon back, but it's a solid pick. At 18, they have the Indianapolis Colts taking Jack Conklin, offensive tackle, Michigan State. That would be a blessing to the Colts. Their offensive line was Swiss cheese last year. They absolutely could use offensive tackle, especially someone like Jack Conklin, who's very stout. I believe he was first team Big Ten. Either first or second team Big Ten. And he might have been an All-American. I don't know off the top of my head. Let me see if this guy has it in his notes. All my notes about people are up here. Okay, yeah, he doesn't say. Jack Conklin, great choice for the Colts. If I were to choose somebody else, it would be only other person I could think of is the guy from Ohio State, and I don't know his name off the top of my head. I'll get to it in a minute. He's on here somewhere. He's supposed to go in the first round. 19th overall, they have the Buffalo Bills getting Shaq Lawson, defensive end, Clemson. The Bills need help everywhere on defense. Well, except backfield. They just lost Mario Williams. They let him go. So getting a new edge rusher would be a huge, huge upgrade. Especially one like Shaq Lawson, who's very, very good. Great pick at 19. At 20, the New York Jets getting Jason Spriggs, offensive tackle, Indiana. Based off the tape that I've seen, same thing about Jack Conklin I gotta say about Jason Spriggs. He's very good blocker. He's got good footwork. He can square up with you. I have a couple question marks on him. But at 20, you're not risking a lot. It wouldn't be like if I was sitting at 4th. 20, yeah, you can take an offensive tackle at 20. You could take a chance on a center or a tackle or a guard, because you're sitting at 20. Your team did okay. Plus, I think they retained one of their tackles that they weren't sure they were going to retain. I could be wrong, but I thought they did. I don't feel like looking it up. And that's not laziness. It's just after a while you get sick of Googling who's who. I'm pretty sure they got a tackle they signed or they got a tackle in free agency. Still, Jason Sprigg, great choice. At 21, they have Washington getting Ashawn Robinson, defensive end, defensive tackle. That's another guy I have question marks on. I don't know if he'll be there at 21. Could be gone by then. When I say question marks, I don't mean I wonder if he's any good. No, question marks as in I don't know if he'll be there. He's a very desirable player. If he's not there, my only other suggestion off the top of my head would be Sean Oakman, but I have him going in the second round. I have him going early in the second. Someone taking a chance on him, either late, very late, meaning like 31st, 32nd. I almost said 33rd. 31st, 32nd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Round 1, round 2. But that would be the only other guy I think you could use. He's a defensive end, defensive tackle, Ashawn Robinson. So it depends on what position they need him for. They run the 3-4. So, solid pick if he's there. I will say that. It's a great choice if he's there. I don't know if he will be or not. Okay, the Houston Texans. So they have Brock Osweiler, but other than that, you really don't have a quarterback. They have them getting Connor Cook, quarterback, Michigan State. I love Connor Cook. I like his ability. You know, there's question marks as to why he wasn't made captain and crap like that. I think he's a solid player. He's got a good arm, good reading ability. Not the most athletic roll out of the pocket guy. Not saying he can't. I'm just saying he's not the most athletic. He's not RG3, okay? He's not going to take off. He's not Russell Wilson. But I think he could take off if he absolutely had to. Think in regards of, like, more athletic than Tom Brady. But along those lines, I'm not going to run 40 yards on you a game. I'll get 10, 8, somewhere in there. I don't think the Texans take him. I think they take a running back. And that's just based on my thoughts. I do not think you take Connor Cook for 2 reasons. One, you do need other things before you need a quarterback. 2, there's a quarterback sitting in the draft midway through the second round that Bill O'Brien recruited. And his name is Christian Hackenberg. I think Bill O'Brien takes Christian Hackenberg. We'll see in April if I'm right. But I think I am. Minnesota Vikings getting Cody Whitehair, guard Kansas State. I just watched some Kansas State film, actually. Cody Whitehair is a solid guard. Very good footwork. I don't see a lot of guys getting around him in college. Now, again, in the pros, that doesn't mean the same thing. But I think it's a solid pick. They absolutely need to work on their line, the Vikings. You got weapons. You need to work on the line. So that's a solid pick with Cody Whitehair. Cincinnati Bengals getting Josh Doctson. That's a great choice. Solid receiver, good hands, good speed. Especially since you lost Marvin Jones. They lost give me a second. They lost Marvin Jones to Detroit, and they lost the other guy to... Give me a second. Real helpful. It's giving me the guys that are already there. I knew that. I know who's on the team. I'm not stupid. Yeah, we'll do free agents. See if I get. Sorry, the site I'm looking at right now is kind of slow. Give me a second. There's a good chance it could be my computer too. It's giving me people who are currently available. I don't care. Hang on, because this is gonna bug me. Mohamed Sanu. They lost Mohamed Sanu to the Falcons. Told you once I found out his name, I could tell you. I knew what team he went to. Imagine that. So getting Josh Doxson is definitely going to help your receiving core. I think you need to get, like I said, Doxson at 24. He'll definitely be there. Well, unless the Vikings take him, but I think the Vikings need to work on their offensive line first. But Doxson's a solid choice. Pittsburgh Steelers at 25, taking defensive tackle Andrew Billings from Baylor. I don't know if I said that yet or not. Pittsburgh needs some work. I think they should take a safety in the first round. If they don't and they do take Billings, then the second round has to be a safety. With no argument whatsoever. But a solid choice in Billings. He's a good defensive tackle. I like him. At 26, the Seattle Seahawks taking Leonard Floyd, outside linebacker, Georgia. Solid choice. Plays the pass, okay. Good pass rusher. He's got some good quickness. Not the fastest guy, but he's got some quickness to him. I think that's a solid choice by the Seahawks. I totally stand behind that choice if I were the Seahawks GM. You got the Green Bay Packers taking Jarran Reed, defensive line. Again, he's a very sought-after prospect. Don't know if he'll be there at 27. If he is at 27, that is absolutely the guy you take, with no question whatsoever. There is no contemplate. There is no, well, if this guy's here instead. No. If Jarran Reed is sitting there at 27, Green Bay, you take him. At 28, the Kansas City Chiefs taking Reggie Ragland, middle linebacker, Alabama. Solid choice. I'm trying to think. They just re-signed. What is his name? Because I didn't think they'd be able to do it, and they were able to get both. They re-signed Tamba Hali. I forget the name of the other guy. But another solid middle linebacker. Absolutely. Kansas City. You get one more solid linebacker like Reggie Ragland. Anything like that along those lines. Jeez Louise. Because your team's already scary. At 29, they had the Arizona Cardinals taking Kevin Dodd, defensive end, Clemson. That's a pretty solid choice. I think he'll be there at 29. I don't see a reason why he wouldn't be. Arizona should be working on their defensive line. The only thing I can think that you might want to add other than that would be O-line, but I wouldn't take one until the second round. First round, Kevin Dodd, good choice. I'd take him. That's a good spot. At 30, they have the Carolina Panthers taking. Ooh, damn. They have him taking Derrick Henry, running back, Alabama. Seeing as how I haven't heard much about him, I mean, after the combine, I forgot. That's right, he went. Okay, I was reading the guy's notes to see if him and I are on the same page. We pretty much are. Carolina likes to run the ball. That's no secret. I mean, it's in his notes, but it's also no secret. Everybody knows that. Pittsburgh likes to run the ball a bit too, but they like to throw it a little more than the Panthers do. And by getting a solid guy like Henry, I think that's a solid pick at 30. That's definitely a good choice. I'm trying to think if there's really any huge downside. The biggest downside I could think of would be I'm not sure how he catches the ball at the backfield. They didn't do it a lot at Alabama, or at least when I watched them. I haven't watched much tape on him anyway. But again, solid choice. If he's there at 30, again, who knows? But if he's there at 30, absolutely take him. I thought they needed a corner, personally. So did this guy, actually. Him and I were on the same page with that. That's what I was reading. Thought they needed a corner. But he made a good point. And then there's actually a lot of corners in this draft. So, if Henry's there, take him. I'm going to figure out where his name is on here because I want to give him some credit. There it is. Mike Straw. If you're watching this, dude, you did a pretty good job. That's the other guy's name. Tyler Decker. Tyler Decker. That's the other guy's name. I told you to be on your something. If you didn't take crap, I don't remember who I was trying to compare him to. You can rewind this crap. Whenever I said either him or the guy, Jack Conklin, when I said the Colts, should they take Jack Conklin? And I said, well, it's either Conklin or this guy from Ohio State, Tyler Decker. Tyler Decker is a solid tackle. He's got some good speed, good hands. Like, he actually ran fast. Very solid blocker. He's a big guy. He's like 6'7". Actually, I don't know. Does he have his measurables in here? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Nope. But, yeah, absolutely. Solid guy. Good choice. If Denver's there, if he's there and Denver's there, take him. If not, Conklin's there. Conklin's another great choice. So either, and I'm going to poke fun at this, either the Colts and the Broncos flip-flop, or they stick with what they've got. Either way, solid choices. All right, my guess is he's just got a list after this. And to all of those bandwagon people, no, the Patriots don't have a first-round pick. It was forfeited. No! Oh, please, God, don't make that be true. In the second round, with the 32nd pick, the first pick in the second round. Or I apologize. No, it'd be they gave them, wow, Cleveland lucked out. They gave them New England's pick. He has them taking Will Fuller from Notre Dame. Please don't let that be true. You could take literally anybody but him and Jaden Smith. Or Day. Actually, you know what? Just stay away from Notre Dame. Don't touch anybody from there. They are off limits. Not allowed to. Take somebody else. Take Kenny Clark. You need a receiver. Let me think. What other receiver would be good there? Coleman. Thomas. Sorry, Zach. At least he'd be staying in the state of Cleveland, or the state of Cleveland, the state of Ohio. If I was not stupid, I'd be able to come up with that. Literally anybody but Will or Chris or Amari. Sorry, Amir. I'm in Amir. The first pick in the second round, he has Tennessee taking Noah Spence, defensive end. That's a solid pick. Yeah, absolutely. The first pick, second round, take Noah Spence. He's got a little issue with the drugs, taking all the drugs, but I think it's a solid pick. I understand their thought. The next pick is Dallas, 34th overall. They have them taking Jonathan Jones, cornerback Auburn. They absolutely need to work on corners. That's a solid choice. 35 San Diego, they have them taking Jalen Smith. Yeah, okay. I have question marks about his ACL. That's because I haven't actually ever talked to him, so I don't know how. They can say whatever they want. It's whether or not I'm actually looking at like a medical file and then go, yeah, he's fine. He tore his ACL. I mean, it's one of those where you go, is he going to be able to bounce back from it or not? Only time will tell. They have the 36th pick going to Baltimore. That's not up for debate. I don't know why I said it that way. That is Baltimore's pick. They have them getting Kenny Clark, defensive lineman, UCLA. That's a solid choice. San Francisco at 37 getting Corey Coleman from Baylor. Solid choice. Good speed. Won the Blitnikoff Award. Again, coming off injury. Gotta have a little question mark next to that. Coming off injury. I hear he's fine, but again, 38 Jacksonville getting William Jackson III out of Houston. I watched the Houston game against Florida State. And Will Jackson was making plays left and right. Solid choice. 39 Tampa Bay taking Eli Apple, Ohio State. I have nothing against Eli Apple. However, I don't think Tampa Bay takes him. I think their backfield is pretty much set. I think you should take a defensive tackle. That's just me. Or an offensive guard. Still, solid choice, if that's who they take. The Giants getting Michael Thomas, wide receiver. No argument there. It's a beautiful choice. 41 Chicago taking Vernon Butler, defensive end, defensive tackle. Yeah, you could use defensive tackle help. I wouldn't put him at end. I'd put him at tackle. Miami getting Hunter Henry, tight end, Arkansas. If that's true, put your safety, your other safety, in a corner on top of Henry, because that kid catches the ball and does not go down easily. They have L.A. from Pittsburgh, 43rd pick. Braxton Miller, wide receiver, Ohio State. I watched him at receiver. I watched him in the pro day, part of the pro day thing. I watched him run and catch some passes. I watched him in the Senior Bowl. I watched him in the prep for the Senior Bowl. And I want to say he was in the East-West Shrine game. Might have not been in the East-West. I don't remember. I don't feel like looking it up either. Again, not laziness. I think he was in it. Regardless. Braxton's actually a really good receiver. He can run. He can catch. You question whether or not you want to run Wildcat with him. So maybe. But still, solid pick. 44 Oakland, they get Darian, Thompson, Boise State. He's a solid safety. It's just that Boise. Yeah. Boise players, again, are one of those teams. They don't necessarily do well in the NFL. I'm not saying all of them crap out. I'm just saying the team in general. It's one of those where you don't really hear about a lot of Boise State guys after they leave. 45, which is LA, they have him getting Jonathan Bullard, defensive end. Damn, that's a good pick from Florida. Solid, yeah, absolutely take that. Okay, this guy. I gotta look up his name again. I'm bad with names anyway. If you haven't noticed. 46. They have Detroit taking Kendall Fuller out of Virginia Tech. That would be a very solid choice. Very good corner, especially since his brother plays for the Chicago Bears. So God forbid he'd go to Chicago, because that would just suck. They play on the same team. They probably got some secret handshake thing deal signal that we don't know about that they can just do across the field. The next thing you know, they know exactly what play you're calling. They have 47 New Orleans taking Keanu Neal, safety Florida. Solid safety, hard hitter. That's a good choice. 48 Indianapolis taking Adolphus Washington, defensive end, defensive tackle. I think you leave him with defensive tackle. Solid pick. Can't believe he fell to the second round. I thought he might go first round. That's one of those. I'm going to say the same thing about him where with Green Bay. If Green Bay is sitting there and your guy for the first round, which is crap, the guy from Alabama, if he's not there, Adolphus Washington would be my number 2 choice. Unless you need a defensive end. If you need a defensive end exclusively, then you go after Jonathan Bullard. They have Buffalo at 49, taking Ryan Kelly, center, Alabama. Solid choice. Again, that would be the second lineman they have from Bama. They also have Cyrus Kwanjo, I believe. Let me find out. I'll Google that one. That one I'm 90% certain. It's either Cyrus or Aries, one of the two. His brother. Thank you for giving me his spelling, because I couldn't do it. He plays for the Bills. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Cyrus Kwanjo. So that would be the second Alabama lineman they would have. Solid choice. I'm not gonna argue that. They need offensive line. 50 Atlanta taking Sheldon Day, defensive end, defensive tackle. I think you leave him at defensive tackle. Notre Dame. Believe me when I say defensive tackle might be his spot. Remember, Notre Dame aholic. I watch every single game. I haven't missed a game in 5 years. I've only ever been to one live, but I never miss a game. Sheldon Day, solid tackle. Absolutely take him at 50 if he's there. If that's what you need. You need a defensive tackle. Take it. The Jets at 51 taking Tyler Boyd, wide receiver, Pittsburgh. I don't know about him. I mean, I have question marks about his catching ability. He's absolutely got the legs for it, but don't know. If you want to take a chance on him at 51, go for it. I mean, it's a safe choice because you know he's got the speed. You could work on the hands, so not a bad choice. Ooh, say now. 52, Houston. They have him taking Shalik Calhoun, defensive end, Michigan State. They have defensive end / outside linebacker. I'd leave him a defensive end. That's a solid choice. Hell yeah. That on the other side of J.J. Watt. Don't play against Houston. If that's who they take, damn. Shalik's scary. I would know. I'm forced to watch a lot of Michigan State football. All my friends are Michigan State fans, with the exception of my cousin, who's an Ohio State fan. So I watch a lot of Michigan State football. 53, Washington taking Sua Craven, safety or linebacker. He is one of those players, again, you could move him to safety. He was at safety before they got moved to linebacker. From the University of Southern Cal. Solid choice for Washington. Again, I don't know if you don't move him back to safety. Hard hitter. Not sure how he plays the ball. I watch a lot of Southern Cal. For reasons that will remain hidden. If you understood the last thing I said about Notre Dame, you'll understand why I don't watch a lot of Southern Cal football. I don't watch a lot of Stanford football either. My screen can't take that kind of abuse by showing the blasphemy of Southern Cal or Stanford. I mean that seriously. That's the only like when it comes to football, that's the only time I'm ever like 100% serious with rivalries. And I'm like, no. Yeah, I don't watch Southern Cal. I don't watch Stanford. They can both programs could burn to the ground, and I wouldn't care. Yeah, Notre Dame football is one of the few football program anything like NFL. I could care less. Cool, so and so plays for so and so. Yay. When it comes to college ball, I am a Notre Dame fan. I bleed blue and gold. Not literally. That'd be fucking weird. I have a large laceration to my wrist, doctor. You need to see this. Why is it blue? I don't know. Good question. Fun story. Well, it's more of a scientific fact. So when you see in your veins, it's blue. Technically speaking, blood is blue. It turns red once it's absorbed oxygen. Once it impacts oxygen around you, I think it's oxygen or CO2. One of the two. I'm pretty sure it's oxygen. Uh, it turns red. It's either oxygen or CO2. I don't remember. I took chemistry a long time ago. I don't remember. Alzheimer's. I'm kidding. Old person disease. I can't remember shit. Senior moments happen a lot. Probably has something with being hit in the head so many times. No, I'm kidding. I haven't been hit in the head. Well, oh shit. Been hit in the head a few times. I should be fine. I don't remember things. Again, don't report that to a doctor. It's not a serious thing. I remember things when I want to remember things. Other times when I actually need the information, don't believe me? Look at my grades in high school. You'll see when I needed the information, nothing. When I didn't need it, I could have told you all you wanted to know about it. I don't remember where I was. Sterling Shepard, Minnesota, going to 54. Wow, I said that backwards. 54, Minnesota, taking Sterling Shepard, wide receiver, Oklahoma. That's a solid choice. Sterling Shepard's got good hands, good footwork. He's very good at staying in bounds. I did watch quite a bit of Oklahoma tape, so heck of a choice there. Cincinnati getting Artie Burns, defensive back, Miami of Florida. Solid choice. Seattle getting Jermaine Ifedi. I have questions about his attitude. Now, I've played football. I know it's a very intense sport, and if you're very passionate about what you're doing, you don't care. Later in the day, you go, I shouldn't have flipped out. But at the time, you don't care. In a couple of the films I watched, he flipped out on like referees. Didn't go violent, didn't like smack anybody. He just like started yelling at them when they called something. I think it was like a holding call on him. And, we'll chalk that up to being passionate about what you're doing. But I have a question mark on that of whether or not he has an attitude problem. If he does, I'd have a question mark as a team of whether or not I'm going to take it. Otherwise, don't worry about it. If it's just, I was frustrated and I lost it, that's different. You can work on that. They have Green Bay taking Austin Hooper, tight end Stanford. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. They don't need a tight end. Trust me, they don't. They have Richard Rodgers. They don't need a tight end. And they have Andrew Quarles. So they don't need a tight end. Pittsburgh taking Von Bell, safety Ohio. There's your safety right there, Pittsburgh. That's a solid choice. Kansas City taking Bronson. I'm going to screw up your last name. Kafusi? Kofusai? Kaufuse. Or, sorry. Kaufusi. Where I got the E is its defensive end. My brain automatically flipped to the next over the comma and went defensive end. He's from BYU. Haven't watched any BYU tape. I'll have to do that today. Yeah, don't know anything about him. If you need him, take him. My brain automatically goes to a different defensive end, and that is crap. No, I can't come up with his name. From the Nittany Lions of Penn State. It's crap. Hang on. Nassib. Okay, so what's his brother's name? It's Ryan Nassib. It's his brother. Hang on. Carl. Don't know what he laced him with, but I've been tripping all day, Carl. Sorry, that's the first thing I thought of. I believe he's going. Yep. I would go after Carl Nassib if I were Kansas City. Sorry. I think it's funny. I'm fucked up in the head, so I think it's funny. You may not have my sense of humor, but oh well. 60, they have New England taking Blake Martinez. Linebacker Stanford. That's a huge pick. Of the tape that I've seen from Stanford, which is very minimal. Because fuck Stanford. I honestly can't say that enough. That's the only one of the few times. Only one of the few. That made sense. Things come out of my mouth and I don't think about them first. That's what I love about this podcast. Is that most of the time it's just shit that rolls out of my face. I don't think about it before I say it. Of the tape that I did watch, which is very minimal, because I do not like Stanford, it's the only thing I'm like seriously passionate about, and I already went through that a minute ago, and that is college rivalries. I actually don't like Stanford. Or Michigan, for that fact. Sorry. I'll explain that in a minute when I get done with this. Blake Martinez was the reason. If he didn't get tackles, if he didn't produce plays, they lost. Arizona taking Joshua Perry, outside linebacker, Ohio State. Solid pick. That's a huge, huge, huge pick for Arizona. Absolutely. If Joshua Perry's sitting there, you take him. No matter who you are, actually. Carolina taking Jeremy Cash. Safety Duke. It's pretty good safety. I don't have an argument with that. And Denver taking Will Redmond, corner, Mississippi State. No argument there either. Solid corner. I'd take him if I was sitting there with Denver. To explain the Michigan State thingy, real quickly, before I go to round 3. The reason I lean Michigan State when it comes to Michigan State rivalry is because when Michigan loses to Notre Dame, they bitch about it and then complain about 16 years ago we won by 3. As opposed to when we lose, if we lose to Michigan State, it's a good game. Like, even if we beat them, that's all that's said. It's not, well, 8 years ago we won by a field goal, because that totally matters right now, you fucking moron. Anyway, you get my point. Oh, there's Carl. And yeah, I'm going to say that I'll probably yell that when I watch him on the draft. My neighbors are probably hearing me going, please don't. Oh God, I might know how to pronounce that guy's last name. For a reason that I'm not going to state. It's because of a TV show. There. I'm probably not correct, but whatever. Number 64, the first pick in the 3rd round. Tennessee selects Austin Johnson, defensive tackle, Penn State. That is a solid choice. Penn State had a few standout players on the defense. That is one of them, Austin Johnson. If they don't pick him and you still want him, my suggestion would be to see if he's still there in the 4th round. I thought he was going to go in about the 4th round. 3rd round, still a solid choice. 65th overall, Cleveland taking Devontae Booker. Everybody in Utah is doing the same thing I'm doing, and that is, please don't do that. I like Devontae Booker. He's a solid player, especially since he beat Michigan. Sorry again. No, I don't have an account with you, and I don't want to make one. Fuck off. 66, San Diego. Sean Coleman, offensive tackle, Auburn. You need to work on your offensive line. It's a good choice. 67, Dallas taking Yannick Ngakoue. I think it's Ngakoue. And if I'm right, and you've seen Archer, you know why I know how to pronounce that. Zing. That's the only reason I could even guess that that's what his name is. I can't say that. That's right. Defensive end, outside linebacker for Maryland. 68, San Francisco taking Gerald Hawkins, offensive tackle, LSU. Solid choice. They need to work on their. They could get one more tackle. That'd be fine. Hawkins. Push come to shove. Yeah, he's a solid choice at tackle. 69, Jacksonville taking Carl Nassib, defensive end, Penn State. Solid choice. He's a very good defensive end. Again, didn't watch a lot of Penn State tape. I watched bits and pieces of a couple games, and then I watched the Senior Bowl, and he was able to punch through the defensive line like it was fucking butter. So, yeah, I'd keep an eye on him. Baltimore getting Jalen Mills, defensive back, LSU. Baltimore lost their corner. I can't remember his name right now. He died, which is very unfortunate, and for both his parents, his friends, and of course the team. So I don't want to sound callous here. You need to replace him on your team, and Jalen Mills is a solid choice at that position. You can put him at corner or safety. The Giants getting Kenneth Dixon, Louisiana Tech, sorry. Solid choice for running back. Don't know what their need is for running back, to be honest with you. But that's a very good choice. He's a great running back, despite being from a smaller school in Louisiana Tech. Very shifty. Good choice. 72, Chicago getting Alex Collins, running back, Arkansas. You got to replace Matt Forte. You've got Jeremy Langford. Solid choice, Alex Collins. 73, Miami getting Joshua Garnett, guard, Stanford. No argument. 74, Tampa Bay getting Pharaoh Cooper. I have questions about his size. Other than that, no argument. Oakland getting Vidal Alexander, guard, LSU. LA getting Deion Jones, linebacker, LSU. Again, questions possibly about his size. Solid choice still, I think. '77, Philadelphia from Detroit getting Dak Prescott, quarterback, Mississippi State. That is a solid choice. Dak's got good movement, good arm, good ability to read. He's started off mostly as a runner, and within the last couple years, he's gotten throwing down to a science. And he's gotten very good at throwing the ball. Absolutely good choice, especially since they need a quarterback. Because, sorry, Sam Bradford's probably going to tear both ACLs in like 5 minutes of the first week. In the first 5 minutes of the first game, he tears his ACL. Wouldn't be surprised. New Orleans taking LaRaven Clark, offensive tackle, Texas Tech. I have question marks about LaRaven Clark. I wouldn't take him. Buffalo taking one of my personal favorite safeties that I found by watching tape on him and watching him in the Senior Bowl. And that is Buffalo 80 taking Miles Killebrew, safety, Southern Utah. The kid loves to hit people. Not so sure about his ball playing ability, but I wouldn't want to be within 5 yards of him, especially if he's running towards you. Atlanta taking Jack Allen, center, Michigan State. Solid choice. Indiana taking Maurice Kennedy, corner and safety, actually, from Virginia. He's really tall. He's like 6'2". New York Jets getting Zach Sanchez to replace the Sanchez they had before that, and before he went to Philadelphia. Fortunately, this particular Sanchez isn't going to fumble out of his ass, because A, he's a corner, and B, he actually is good at his position. Zach Sanchez, solid corner. 84 Washington taking Kenyon Drake, running back out of Alabama. No argument. Very quick. Darty movements. Very good on the screen. It's a good choice. Houston getting Jonathan Williams, Arkansas. No argument. Again, same thing. Big guy. Good quickness. Minnesota taking Alex McAllister, defensive end, outside linebacker, Florida. They need to work on the defense. That's a solid choice. Cincinnati taking DJ Reader, nose tackle, Clemson. You got to take some pressure off of your other tackle. And give me a second. He's from Georgia. His name is... It's funny because I can name everybody else on the defensive line. No, it's not D'Amato Petco. It's the other guy. The guy lines up next to him for crying out loud. It's open. This is really gonna bug me. Geno Atkins. Thank you. You gotta take some pressure off of Geno Atkins. That's a solid choice to get another defensive tackle, especially DJ Reader, who's a very solid tackle. Green Bay getting Sean Davis, center, Maryland. Need to work on the backfield. Need to work on your defense. Got to work on your offense too, but defense needs a lot more work than the offense. Pittsburgh getting Kyle Murphy, offensive tackle. Stanford, no argument. Seattle getting Paul Perkins, running back, UCLA, since they lost beast mode. Yeah, you need a running back. Kansas City getting Harlan Miller, corner. Southeast Louisiana. Never heard of him. New England getting Kavari Russell. Okay. Not going to argue with you. He's a solid corner from Notre Dame. Carolina getting Leonte. I always screw up his name. Carew, wide receiver, Rutgers. That is a solid choice. Very fast, good hands. Denver getting Charles Tapper, defensive end, Oklahoma. That's the end of round 3. Concluding this. That is the NFL Mock Draft 2016 3 rounds from campussport.net. If you want to find it, it's on the NFL's Facebook page. Now my throat is sore from talking so fucking much. Okay, we're going to quick go over the results of the fight from this past Saturday, which was... I'm going to get the number wrong. That's why I got to look it up. UFC Fight Night 85. Mark Hunt versus Frank Mir in Brisbane. That's in Australia, by the way. Starting off the first fight, Alan Parker Silver Alves. Fucking long ass name. Beat Damian Brown. Ross Pearson beat Chad Laprise. Viscardi Andrade beat Richard Walsh. Leslie Smith, you remember her for the ear incident. Beat Rin Nakai. She's 0-2 now in the UFC. Might get cut. Dan Hooker beat Mark Edeva. Alan Jobin beat Brendan O'Reilly. Beck Rawlings beat Sihu Ha. Steve Bose beat James the Tuna. Tahuna. Everyone calls him that. Daniel Kelly, Antonio Carlos Jr. Jake Matthews beat Johnny Case. Daniel Kelly beat Antonio Carlos Jr. Sorry. Neil Magny TKO'd Hector Lombard. And the creme de la creme, otherwise known as the cherry on top of this lovely, lovely event, the main event. And that would be Mark Hunt against Frank Mir. And who do you think won that? In the words of Nate Diaz, not surprised, motherfucker. Mark Hunt knocked out Frank Mir in 3 minutes, 1 second. Walk-off knockout. That's my boy. The next fight is in Croatia. I'm not going to go through that card again because I slaughter everybody's name. It's on the 10th of next month. It's Ben Rothwell against Junior Cigano dos Santos in Zagreb Arena, Zagreb, Croatia. And that's the end. Aha, you thought I was going to say it. I didn't. Maybe the Looney Tunes. In case I need to cover my ass. That's that. Yeah. Guys, have yourselves a lovely rest of your day. Cheers. Trying to think if there's anything really big going on. Nope. That's that. Oh, Michigan State got beat. Which is funny. Why is it funny? You got beat by Mid-Tennessee. That's sad. And Michigan got knocked out. Yeah. That's men's basketball, by the way, for those of you who didn't understand that. That goes on for the next 2.5 weeks. Something like that. It's a good thing this is the end because this is empty. That's the sound of despair. Alright, well, you guys have yourself a lovely day. I'm done. I'm out of here. Love ya.